Hello, good evening, and good welcome to Xbox Tavern's Xpod Tavern episode 126. I'm Jamie, and this week I'm joined by MPV Graham. Come on in.
Good hello evening.
Good hello evening to you. Are you well?
I am well. How are you?
I am, as always, spiffy. And we're a man down this week, no Millie Man in, but we do have Scottish Gruff Ross. Come on in, sir.
Hello.
Man with the plan. How are you, Scottish Gruff?
I'm very well. Yourselves?
Very spiffing indeed.
Bully.
I left you alone in the pleasantries because I could see you were concentrating. But have you had a nice weekend?
I have indeed, yes. I was at a science centre yesterday, which was very enjoyable, and had just a relaxing day today.
Very nice. No more shells to the face this weekend.
No shells to the face this week, no.
Good.
At least you went pleasant. I thought you were going to take the mick out of like a science centre in Scotland. Is it just got like the phone and the TV and that's about it?
Two of the most used things in the world.
I felt like it was sort of low hanging fruit. I didn't want to dig in the first 2 minutes. Not just yet. We've got plenty of time for that because this is indeed, as I said, Xbox Tavern's Xpod Tavern episode 126, which we record each and every Sunday at 8 p.m.
Ish.
youtube.com/Xbox Tavern Official, where you can find lots of other wonderful videos from Ross and Dan and many of the crew. Yeah, go check them out right now. We'll talk about some of them later on. But gentlemen, we are here to talk about video games, specifically Xbox related, until we get to a certain person's games of the week. But let's kick off with what we've been playing, shall we? So let's go to Scottish Gruff first, shall we? Scottish Gruff. I didn't see your list, so what have you been playing, sir?
I waited so I could sneak it in without you getting annoyed at me.
Oh, fuck me. No, Graham, I changed my mind.
You've got some FM in there, is he?
No, better. So I finally managed to convince one of my good mates to join me on the dark side and join up for some PlayStation, some Xbox. So I've dragged them away from PlayStation side, and we've been jumping back into a little bit of pro clubs on FIFA.
Very exciting. So Graham, I'm going to let you fill in the questions here, by the way, but carry on, Ross. Tell us all about it.
So we've had a long history with pro clubs. I think we've had a team going every year from 2018, I think it might have been. So the Datsun Dragons, as the team is formerly known as, the name Datsun coming from our love of old Nissans. Dragons, fuck knows wherever he pulled that from, but it works. So a little bit of alliteration. I think we played 5 or 6 games last night. Got our promotion up to Division 9, and it'll be the slow, steady climb up the leagues to see where we can end up in this generation.
Very nice. So before we get into the FIFA questions, I've got to ask, how did you convince your friend to join the dark side? Was it the power of Game Pass if we're still in gaming? Was it a cheap console, or was it just fucking do it, you can't?
No, it was basically just Starfield. Yeah, Starfield. It's like I can't really afford to miss that. So I've been trying to chin him from the day I got my Xbox. Like, still buy a fucking PlayStation, buy an Xbox. No. And as you'll see by the other game that I've been playing this week, he was adamant that he wanted to spend $17.99 on PlayStation to buy this game, and I very promptly put the foot down, going, "It's not fucking happening. You get a fucking Xbox, and we play it on the Xbox on Game Pass." So we did.
Yeah, because 23 is indeed included in Game Pass, right?
No, the other game as well. Best value in gaming.
And Starfield, yeah, I suppose, yeah, but as a bonus, you get FIFA included as well.
Yeah.
So
he was like, and eventually picked it up. So between this, the other game that I've been playing this week, and Gears, it's sort of all back to how it should be in the gaming world.
Nice. You mentioned Gears. Let's just forget about FIFA and let's talk about Gears for a little now. carry on, Gray. Sorry, go on.
I thought you were saying that deliberately to poke the fact that he's cut ties with ladies' favourite, just so he can. I mean, he wouldn't have to wait for Game Pass to play FIFA anyway, because he's now reconnected with Mr. Gruff over there.
Exactly. Fucking Dan Wees. Yeah. Dan.
Graham, come on. What questions have you got for him about his pro clubs? Because I obviously know literally less than zero about how it works.
No, it's a different way to sort of enjoy FIFA, but with more people. So when you're sort of wanting to sort of play a game with your friends, like this is a way if you've got football friends that you can all play at the same time as the club, and you just play as one kind of player. So you, Jay, being the sort of the tough tackler as you are and being out of position, they'll probably
hold the mid,
stick you in
like
like a
hold the mid
defensive
written all in it.
Yeah,
we played this, didn't we? I remember now.
We did.
Only a little bit. I mean, I don't remember anything but slide tackling everyone. But carry on.
Yeah, so usually like you have one main guy playing as the any, which is basically he plays everyone else in the club, and the other person has to sort of pick a spot where their best skills lay. So usually they pick the other striker because in the previous iterations of like clubs, they always made the rest of the team just naff. Whereas I think they've slightly improved it this year, so the team is a little bit kind of upskilled and not just cack. Yeah. But they still seem to be quite randomly generated at times.
Yeah, I mean the goalkeepers are probably better this year. The defenders are sometimes better this year. The midfielders are not too bad. They actually like pick the proper pass and stuff like that. And if you are playing with somebody not filling up the like 2 striker slots or things like that, the AI computer strikers are not terrible.
Yeah.
It's basically like playing with a team full of Dans.
It can be, yeah. But I mean,
sometimes you might win.
It's yourself. It's just a way of sort of enjoying a football game together, sort of playing as a single person. You can upgrade your character and sort of get them to learn traits and stuff. And if you like midway, you can say, actually, I'm a bit bored playing this position. I'll switch into a different position. I think you can sort of record about 3 or 4 different position types. So you can just switch out and just jump in as a different kind of style and retrain your points to benefit that kind of style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good. My only downside is that he hasn't invited me to join in.
I mean, I'm offended I've not been invited. You know?
Yeah, well, who would? I'm the only. We used to be, but I mean, I can only ever sort of play with sort of Pete when he's in the mood for it, and he keeps being so down on FIFA recently. I think me and Pete did have an epic run on. I think it was probably about 18-19 with some sort of randomers that we sort of played with, and it got a bit soap opera shit at the end. Played with a German guy with the code name Floppy Mangoes, which used to make me and Pete chuckle anyway.
Nice.
He used to provoke the leader of the club, and it got a bit weird. But it was fun. It was like 4 or 5 of us playing as a team, and it was a bit of fun. But nowadays, it's just no one really to sort of pro clubs with.
Pro clubs is the good stuff. It's less stressful than Ultimate Team, but it's less monotonous than just playing like career mode or stuff like that. So.
And now that sort of Ultimate Team is pretty much dead and I'm releasing sort of the super cards now.
Everybody's got elite squads, no matter how fucking good they are, and it's just like,
Well, so sounds like you two need to. You two need to connect you two and your mate and get some pro clubs going on. I would offer my services, but I don't want to sort of put you all to shame. So we've sort of
playing down with like 9 or 10 men. Jay,
I was going to say we'd have to play the cup competition where it's like the no rules football, like so you can't be offside. There's no sending off.
No. We don't want that. We need all of the rules just so I can get over and done with quickly. You know, get all the players sent off and disqualified and fouled and injured and whatever else. Good. So you're enjoying it. You're back into FIFA. You got your mate over to the good side.
Yep.
To the right side of history. Ready for Starfield. Obviously, you've got a month of FIFA before that comes out and dominates everybody's life. But
Gears Ultimate Edition, 100% completion done on that.
Very nice.
Other games that I've played this week will be done, and the DLCs hopefully, and then ready for a nice clean run at Starfield.
Nice. Very, very nice. We're all looking forward to a bit of Starfield. Never heard of it, but it's coming up very soon. And apparently you can have sex on jetpacks, as Graham is very excited for. Nice. Anything else on FIFA? Anything else on FIFA, Russ? Or should we move on to one of Graham's
all
games?
the FIFA chat so far. One promotion, so all we've got to celebrate so far.
Nice. And you kept it under 10 minutes. You've done me well. You've done me proud. Graham, tell us about a game you've been playing this week then.
Well, as we're keeping it on the brief ones first, I'll tell you I've come to my end of my sort of Fallout 76 journey. I've done I've done all the sort of the main kind of quests now. I've sort of finished all the Brotherhood stuff. I finished all the Settler and Raider stuff, and finished all the Enclave bit. There's only one thing I haven't done because they did it really, really shitly, and I haven't launched a nuke.
Oh, so you not got all the keys.
It didn't even make sense. It allowed me to go into the silo bit to sort of launch the nuke and do all that quest, and I got to the fucking final console after about an hour of fighting about 7 billion machines. And it goes, insert the card, now insert the code. I sort of cheated and looked online, looked for the codes, and it didn't accept the codes. And then it still ate my card. So if you don't type in the right code, you lose your card. And so I'm just sitting out of the console like a knobhead with no cards, and I can't put in any more codes. And so I can't launch the nuke. And I've done all the thing, get everything prepped. Took about an hour to get all of there, and yeah, for nothing. I didn't get to.
Could you not just wait next to the console and some like random unsuspecting person and just fuck them up and steal their card?
I don't know. Oh no, I'm on passive mode, so I'd have to start the fight first before I did something like that. But it's just
that's right. Mini nuke right down the corridor. Boom.
What's it called?
Every time it's like 300 levels above me. So
fair one.
to get my eyes handed to me. But yeah, that last mission was just done to sort of launch the nuke. And to be honest, I'm not that fussed about it. Sort of, the only reason I wanted to do it was so I could do there was one mission about getting a bomb in one of the mines, and there's another after you've nuked an area, you can go in there and pick up sort of the mutated flowers and stuff, and that's what you can use to build a jetpack for your power armor. But that's just one part of it. There's so many different other elements to get before you can build that bit. And I was like, this is just a ball ache.
Always boils down to the jetpack, doesn't it?
You beat me to it. Yeah, I was waiting for a break in there to bring up the jetpack. He's obsessed. He's obsessed. He's a madman.
But it wasn't even worth it. It wasn't even worth it. So, yeah, I just abandoned that bit. So I've done all the kind of main quests. The only thing left is just the chaff now, the kind of duff side quests for like caps and things. I'm pretty much super boosted on my heavy guns. I mean, even to sort of get one of the nuclear codes, you have to take down 3 sort of massive aircrafts and then the little sort of drone that's carrying the card. I just motored down the 3 airplanes in no time. Not even the super beasts can take me down anymore. I can sort of hold my own against each of those now. So I'm pretty beefed up. Yeah, but it's just, yeah, I feel like I've come to the end of that kind of journey now, so I can happily sort of move on to Starfield without any concerns, or even join in on some pro clubs now. My time's freed up.
Very nice, very nice. So, yeah, so you ended up. I was a bit concerned, like we said last week, that you wouldn't get to the end of it in time. But obviously, you moved on, and you're all ready for yet another massive RPG that's going to take 500 hours to build your first ship and buy a cheese sandwich.
Yeah. Well, I did have a glance when I was looking to sort of move it. I saw I still have Phantasy Star Online as well.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Let's start that now.
Have really sunk my teeth into that, but yeah, I think that's too big a rabbit hole to jump into now.
Yeah, I think that's probably best off save till next year. That will still be there. And to be honest, I'd quite like to join that. I'd join you with that one because I quite enjoyed our time with Fantasy Star Online on Dreamcast. It was good fun. I know this one's obviously quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, it's going to be
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm warning you. Don't start. Don't start. Play some other small things in the meantime, and for another 31 days.
That's why I picked up some other smaller game, which I'm semi-regretting.
Well, we can get to that as and when we're ready to talk about that. I suppose I'll jump in quickly with my Xbox related game this week before we get on to the actual thing I've been playing all week. Picked up. I reached out by the PR for a game called Insomnes, and it's like a first-person horror game. And I thought it would be entertaining because I like a bit of horror, and also thought it'd be entertaining because I got Ian a copy and I want to watch him stream it and shit his pants. He keeps ducking me every time I suggest we do it at the minute, but I will get him to play it. But so far, I'm only maybe 2 hours into it, if that, and there's no combat, there's no horror. It's not like Outlast or something where you're sort of running and hiding for your life. At the minute, it's all just really creepy stuff. So you'll turn around and the door will slam shut randomly, or something will sort of whiz by in the corner of your eye and be like, oh, what's that noise? But I'm enjoying it so far. It's quite confusing because there's no sort of direction as to what you're doing. You're picking up all these items as you go around. It doesn't tell you what they are or what they're for, and you've just got to sort of go around and click on things until you can find where you can use stuff. And because I've been playing a bit disjointedly, I've sort of picked it back up the next day and gone, what the fuck have I got in my inventory? What am I doing? Where am I going? So I need to probably sit down for an evening and spend a good few hours, I think, to get through it. But so
Sounds like
far,
you're playing Resident Evil without the enemies.
effectively, yeah. But there's no like inventory, so it's not like you can open a menu and be like, you've got the tablecloth, the knife, and a pair of pants or something. It's just like it just shows you in the corner what the icon is. So I think I've got like an apron, a mask, and something. But I've just got to go around and try and find out where to use them and go from there. I've made a little bit of progress, but like I said, I need to have a solid block and sit down and play it. But I wouldn't say it's scary so far either. I don't think Ian's going to be too frightened. It's very dark because I was staying away for work this week, and in the hotel I was staying in, they obviously got crappy TVs. I could hardly see anything. So once I got home and played it, it was actually a lot nicer to be able to see what the hell was going on. But yeah, I need to sit down and properly play it. But I'm enjoying it enough so far, and we'll report next week. Hopefully, I'll have finished it by then. If I don't get sucked into playing the other game we've been playing, but we'll get to that in a minute. Ross, have you been playing something else? Did you mention?
I have, yes, and it's an old favourite of the show. I have been jumping back into some Escape Academy again.
Hey.
Back on the whole converting my mate to the Game Pass. This is the game I was talking about, but he wanted to buy it on PlayStation. And I was like, no, it's on fucking Game Pass. If you want to play it, I'm not fucking wasting money on it. Get an Xbox.
Yeah, I'm not wasting money on it. You buy a whole new console.
You buy your fucking new console so we can play the game. So, no, played quite a bit of Escape Academy on... I can't even remember what day we were on just now. So, played that on Friday. Shockingly, has went much more swimmingly than it did when playing with Dan. There was no expletives hurled backwards and forwards at each other. And I think we've got 2 more puzzles on the main game to do, and then jump into the DLCs after that.
Very nice.
Do you have used the extended timer at any point?
The what?
As in, when you fail, it says, do you want to have extra 5 minutes or extra 10 minutes?
No. So the mission that has the art gallery, you need to like spray paint your name up on the sign at the end. I had already done that with Dan, so I let him and his wife sort of do it sitting on their couch talking to each other, and if they needed me, they could give me a shout for clues. But they were so pig stubborn and didn't want to ask for clues, they ended up fucking it.
Oh, okay. So you let him and his wife do it while you watched?
For that one, yeah, pretty much. It was quite fun. Actually, you should try it. So that was the only time that there was an incomplete puzzle. And the rest of the time, we've sort of breezed through it, which, considering my experience with Dan, was a breath of fresh air.
Very nice indeed. So, have you found? I think, like me and Graham said, like one of you's better at certain types of puzzles than the other, and vice versa, or you sort of keeping a bit more even.
Probably a bit more even. We've done quite a few escape rooms like in real life together, so we sort of know like how each other works.
So do me and Jay. That's why if you keep leaving, goes, oh, you prefer those ones. You can. I'm going to go find something else to do.
Yeah, I can't do this. Take over.
There's certain ones where it's like, if it's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like ones where it is, if we've like got points where he's stronger than me on certain things. I think like word puzzles, I tend to like correlate the words quicker. But like the pattern one, so like the one that me and Dan got stuck on with the code for to like make the key to get the person out the cell. He like flew through that and got the code, no worries whatsoever. Whereas I was still like trying to argue. I'm like, I don't think that's right. Turns out he got it spot on. But so he's got like certain things that he does. I've got certain things, but as I say, it's just nice to actually have a competent teammate while I'm playing it this time.
That's good. It always helps things. Definitely always helps things.
It makes it much smoother.
So have you both picked up the DLC then, or are you?
No, we're going to finish the main story and then pick up the DLC.
They're sharing.
Well, yeah, they can share. They can share the DLC, but you still got to purchase it. One of you at least. Make your mate buy it. Tell him you're over this side now. You got to buy the games. Yeah, no good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
He knows I've got fucking Microsoft points sitting there ready just to spend. So it's like,
shh! Don't tell him. Shh, no one knows. No one knows.
They're Starfield reserved. Shut up.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it because me and Graham really enjoyed playing through that and the DLC recently as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good fun.
How long in length are the DLCs roughly?
Probably about 3 to 4 hours worth each, I suppose.
That's
They had
pretty
like
good
4
then, I
or
suppose.
5 that were about 45 minutes to an hour a pop.
No, that's not bad then, I suppose.
Yeah, they're definitely a bit longer than the main game ones, but they're good. They're a good challenge, and you can read my review on XboxTavern.com. Wow,
Yeah,
cheap
we
plug.
definitely I think we had definitely 3 or 4, both of them together, that we had to have a bit of an extended timer on, but only sort of only one. We didn't have to double like extend. I think we had like an extend by about 5 minutes on about 3 of them.
Yeah, and even then it was like sold in the next 30 seconds when it were like
just right off the cusp.
But yeah, you have to let us know when you play DLC, see what you think. We really enjoyed them. Well worth checking out. Nice, thank you very much, Graham.
Yes,
You've got a second game on your list here, and as long as it's not football related, no, it's not good. Carry on. Tell me all about it.
Double Dragon Guidance. This is what I had been playing at the same time as well as playing Fallout all this time, because it's such a throwback to the old school games, but just enhanced in a much, much better way. Yeah. So this is sort of Double Dragon, like exactly how it used to play, sort of side-scrolling, sort of beat 'em up in a way, but not as hard as what Double Dragon used to be. I remember sort of Double Dragon used to be notoriously hard. You really had to sort of learn the patterns and circle around the enemy so they don't hit you. Whereas you've got some extra moves here to sort of really sort of help you out. And basically those special moves are kind of the game changer of the game, because they've given you 2 different sort of ways to use. You can use your 3 different special moves, but if you capture 3 or more enemies in a special move, you get some food back, and basically you can regain health by sort of, they call it crowd control, but it's where you sort of kill multiple enemies at the same time. And when you play it single player, you can have 2 different people, but you have to max out your special meter to swap in your other person. And you can only play as sort of Billy and Jimmy at the start, along with Marion and their uncle. Can't remember what his name is, but he's a bit rubbish. And then as you play, you earn sort of cash as you go through, and then once you finish the game, whether you completed it or you die, you cash out for tokens, and with those tokens you can just use it in the shop to buy different things, and some of them are unlockable characters. Most of the unlockable characters are just the enemies in the game, and some of the bosses in the game, as well as the big bane boss at the end. And so it gives you some replay value. And what they've done as a nice neat trick as well is there's 4 like mega stages to play through, like 4 gangs, and they change depending on the order you put them in, which I didn't notice at first until I realized I never had to come through this bit before. And then you say, oh, it's harder. Oh,
what do you mean order you put them in?
So you got 4 stages. You could play them in any order, but the first one is like super easy. There's like 5 subsections. Whereas if you put it towards the end, there's like 10 subsections, and they get progressively harder. So it expands out the level, and they get really, really hard. So if you mix the order up, it looks different every time. If you put it in a different order, you get a subsection of that, and so you can sort of amend the playthrough. So it gives you a little bit of replay value freshness, rather than just doing the same stages over and over again. You do parts of it, so it's pretty cool. And one of the main things is you can finally unlock people that remember the game. There's a big beefy character in it called a Bobo. And
oh no, a Bobo.
A Bobo. So he was the big brutish guy that used to bust through the walls and everything. So he becomes an unlockable in this one. So as soon as I got him, he was the first one I unlocked to play as, and he's an absolute beast. It's like having Max from Streets of Rage 2 on your team. Just steamrolls everything. And then there's certain characters with guns as well from the start, so you can have a character that has a gun, which feels a little bit cheating. But
I was going to say that's not the Double Dragon spirit, surely.
Well, there are people with guns in sort of the old school Double Dragon things, and dynamite and whips and all those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
But at the end of each level as well, there's sort of upgrades that you can do to sort of make you a little bit faster, stronger, make your special meter grow, get more food back from things that you have to sacrifice money to do it, and more money you sacrifice, which means less tokens for conversion at the end. So you need to weigh up how you're going to play it, but it just gives you a little bit of roguelite elements to the game as well. But yeah, totally enjoyed it, and definitely sort of great nostalgia feels graphically, and they've even sort of revamped the music up, and it's awesome game. Absolutely loved it.
Very good, very good. So obviously these kind of games are co-op. It's local co-op, but there's no online co-op.
Yeah,
in this,
local only. Yeah,
and is it just 2 players?
it is just 2. Yeah. You only need 2. I mean, there's so many enemies on the screen. It'd get be mayhem if you had too many on at once.
Like turtles in it, with fucking 6 of you running around like bastards. Smashing out.
Sort of chaos. So just the 2, and unfortunately, it's just local only. It'd be awesome if it was sort of online play with someone else, but yes, I'm afraid it's only local. But absolutely great fun. If you're a fan of the original, this is sort of a definite decent tribute to it, and enhanced as well. Even sort of newer players that like a bit of sort of old school side scrolling action, this is done really, really well.
Yeah, I've been meaning to sort of install it and check it out, but I would rather do it in co-op. So whenever we eventually meet up again and watch Clerks 3 and all the other films we're meaning to,
give that a go as well.
Play that at the same time one night. But yeah, I'd love a bit of Double Dragon. Roch, you're obviously not as old as us.
No,
Me specifically. did you play Double Dragon back in the day? Have you?
No, Streets of Rage was sort of my entry point for that sort of type of game.
Or just a smidgen beforehand.
Yeah, that was Streets of Rage was where I was like, ooh, I can like kick people twice and then throw them into a car. Ooh.
Right.
I think Double Dragon was more sort of Master System teetering onto the Mega stage.
Yeah, I think there were Mega Drive versions, but yeah, I remember spending a lot of time with you and my brother and playing the Master System version, getting whipped like this, like you said, with the girls, and then having to fight each other at the end to take the girl home. Good times.
A little curveball they threw in there. There's no curveball like that, but there's different curveball in there, but it's a bit of an obvious curveball. But I won't spoil it.
We'll find out one day, perhaps one day. Very nice, very nice. Okay, good. Right, Double Dragon. What's it called? Double Dragon Gaiden. Is that it?
Rise of the Dragons or something like that?
Rise of the Dragons.
The Brothers of Dragon or something like that.
You can go and read your review, which I believe is up right now on XboxTavern.com as well.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, go and check that out. And then I'll give you, like Russ always says, I'll give you another list of more reviews up there later on. One thing that won't be reviewed up on the XboxTavern.com now, however, which I did consider, but I don't think I'll get around to it, is a game called Pikmin 4. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that. I've mentioned it once or twice before.
Sounds
it's this little game from Nintendo, and it's sort of taken over my life, really. Like I said, I've been trying to play Insomnis while I've been away, and I got home and immediately back on the Switch, playing Pikmin probably 3 or 4 hours today. It's a little bit yesterday, a little bit Friday. It's just wonderful. It's not necessarily a hard game to play, although it's certainly got its challenges. But it's almost just like I always sort of look down on like collectathons, but the whole point is just to collect stuff, because I mean, what's the point in doing that? But it's for some reason Pikmin, I just love doing it. I was going around all the levels, I'm scouring every corner looking for all the little fruits and items and Game Boy Advances, and I just found in one of the levels I did earlier on, I found a Wave Race GameCube disc, and it just filled my heart with a little bit of joy. I just found a purple Pikmin, which are awesome. Obviously the big heavy boys that they account for 10 Pikmin each, and it's the kind of game that you can sort of pick up, play for a little bit of time, and come back and sort of pick up where you left off a week later. I've been doing it every day basically. I haven't been leaving anywhere near a week long, but it's just excellent. It's from start to finish. I mean, I'm nowhere near the end yet. I'm trying to 100% each area as I go through, because I just enjoy, like I said, exploring and finding what I can find. And I'm about 50% through the third area, and I think there's only 4. So I'm working my way through it, but it's fucking wonderful. I really wish one of you would play it, because it's so amazing. I love it. So good. It's such a good game. I assume none of you have ever touched Pikmin.
I played one.
I'm loath to ask this question because I want to keep the podcast under 6 hours, but what's the actual point of the game?
So, I mean, the story is fluff, like it would be in any sort of game really like this. But the idea is you crash landed on this planet, and in order to restart your ship with the power, you have to collect things to like turn it into energy. And that, because you're tiny little creatures and you've crash landed on like a version of Earth, the whole point is to go around and collect sort of real world items that they then assign silly names to. like fruits and vegetables, and like I said, GameCube discs and Game Boy Advances and stuff like that. And you just go around and you collect the items, you fight the enemies, you build up your army of Pikmin. Then the day ends, and then you start again. Go around, collect more items, kill more enemies. Day ends, start again. Go around, collect more items, etc., etc., etc. This one's a bit more fleshed out, where they've got a bit in between each day, where you can upgrade your pal Ochi with different abilities, or you can spend your collected currency on items you can take out, like bombs and upgrades for your suits and stuff like that, which wasn't in the last game. There you just had to find them out in the world. But it's just a pleasant experience of just collecting things. Basically, there's not really much point to it other than that. And then once you finish an area, you move on to the next area, and then you start collecting things again. And they obviously get gradually harder with different sort of environments, because all the Pikmin have their own specialities. So like blue can go in the water, red can deal with fire, yellow electricity, and so on and so forth. And each area sort of got its little zones attuned to each different type of Pikmin. So you can't take the red ones through a watery area because then they'll drown. You can take the blue ones, and then later on you might need to clear an area so that the reds can get through, and then fight a fire enemy. And it's just wonderful. I mean, I probably could sit here and waffle on for ages, and I won't, because I mean, but I suffice to say, I'm having a fantastic time, and I don't want it to end, which is why I'm sort of dragging it out as long as possible, collecting every single thing as I go. And I've also got the Pikmin 1 and 2 HD remasters, like the physical, not disc, what's it called, little cartridge coming in September. So I shall go back and play them when it arrives, and I'm very much looking forward to doing
September.
That. In September, yes. I nearly bought the digital version, but I wanted the little cartridge. Because
you think you're going to have time to play anything in September?
He'll make time for this nonsense.
Yeah, I was going to say, while Starfield's loading for the 5 minutes it takes to open up a planet, I'll be playing some Pikmin 1 and 2. Really. If you're not checked out, I highly recommend it. There's a demo on the Switch eStore for Pikmin 4. Even if you just give it a go, I think it's like a 2-hour demo, but it gives you a good taste of what to expect. So I'd highly recommend checking it out. And if Nintendo could just port them to Xbox as well, I mean, I'll just play them on there as well. Love a bit of Pikmin. Very, very enjoyable.
But I feel like I've got to try and play it just to see if my mockery of it is founded.
Exactly. You can tell me it's shit once you played it and you don't like it, but I think it's fucking excellent. It's definitely going to be one of my games of the year. It's not going to beat Zelda, I don't think, but it's it's just excellent. But I won't waffle on too much again, because it's a Nintendo game, and as much as we're a multi-game household here, we must stick to the Xbox, unfortunately. So no more questions on Pikmin, anyone? You want anything or no?
I'm good, thanks.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'll probably be talking about it for weeks to come, because it's going to take me a while to get through it. But in the meantime, while I'm playing some Pikmin, Ross can give us a good old plug-in if you don't mind.
If that's what you so desire, Jay, I'll give you a plug-in. No worries.
Please do.
So patreon.com.
As long as your friend and his wife watch.
So patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. If you want to support us with your hard-earned money, it is greatly appreciated. You'll be able to find our After Dark shows over there. Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you could jump over, rate us 5-star, leaves a wee comment underneath, gets us a wee bit more exposure. Written reviews can be found at xboxtavern.com. As Jay said, he'll have a wee list later on in the show of ones that have went up the past week. Socials are all on the bottom of the screen. You can find us anywhere along the lines of at Xbox Tavern or at Xbox Tavern Official, and that's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those different places. Discord, come and jump in and join us over on our Discord. Shoot the shit about games you've been playing, day-to-day life. Guess the game that Jay's not managed to complete in the last 3 days, which I found hilarious.
Wait. I did today's one. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
Just. But yeah.
Minus today's one then.
Absolutely fucked, yeah.
And last but by no means least, insert coin. Use code Xbox Tavern 23. Can be used for £5 off orders over £50. And I'm rocking some R6 apparel from the wonderful people over at Insert Coin.
Always go and check them out. They've always got some great clothes. I think they've had a new Gears of War line. So I got paid the other day, and I was like, no, resist. Stay away from the computer.
Jay is waiting for the Starfield drop.
Exactly. Wait for that Starfield beanie to come out. Thank you very much. Cool. Right, gentlemen. There's some news this week. Not a great deal. But before we get into news, actually, I kind of skipped over the Project Game Pass. I realise it's the end of the month. We haven't picked a new game yet. But has anybody else checked any more Exo Primal this week?
No, I'm waiting for a group play.
To get together.
Yeah,
Graham,
likewise.
No, yeah. No, we sort of missed our boat this week with scheduling wise, but we should hopefully play some more again very soon. But I think overall, really enjoyed it. We'll wait for Ian to come back next week when we can give a proper verdict, perhaps. But if you can go read our review, you can go watch our review, even I should say, which we did last week on the podcast, is now up on xboxtavern.com as well. Got the video and the verdict and score and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll pick a new game this week and then we'll discuss it next week, I guess, when what we're going to play. Got a few options to go with, but I mean, there's 600 games of Game Pass. It's got to be one.
Sure, there's one or two we could pick.
It's got to be something we can figure out what we're gonna do together. But we'll get back to that next week. So if you've got any suggestions, hit us up on Twitter at Xbox Tavern or in the comments down below. See, I'm good at this YouTube thing. Down below.
The old YouTubes.
Just let us know if you've got any things you'd like us to play and discuss, and we'll give it a go if we haven't already played it. But for right now, let's get into some news, shall we? And again, there's not much again this week, but there's a few bits and pieces. And Ross, I know you sort of filled in the news for us here. We're going to kick off with what was the thumbnail, which is about Remnant 2. Before we get into it, has anybody played it? Because I certainly haven't.
I haven't played this. I haven't played the second one. I played the original one though, from Ashes.
Nice.
I will probably play this one because it is a fantastic game series with a kind of unique take on like a Souls game. So it is. I don't know if it's as hard as a traditional Souls game. It still kicks your ass, but you do have access to like guns and stuff like that as well. So it's one of these things where it sort of tosses up where like limited availability of ammo. Guns aren't like overpowered as much, but they make it a little bit easier. But it's still fucking hard as balls.
Yeah, so I was listening to a few people talk about on I think God is a Geek and a few other places, and it sounds like this one's got a bit more of a twist to it, where when you start a new game, you don't always start, like you were saying, Graham, with Double Dragon. You don't always start in the same place, so you might start in World 1A, for example, and then your friend might start in World 1C or 1D or whatever, however they named it. I can't remember exactly. And then as you play through it, it was all random up until I guess the end when you probably all end up in the same place. But it seems to have got a lot of fans. AJ's reviewing it for us. It's not quite ready to check it out yet because we got it a little bit later than everyone else. But I look forward to seeing what he thinks of it. But according to the Digital Foundry folks, the wonderful people over there, they said it is possibly an Unreal Engine 5 Nanite showcase. I've been meaning to watch this video, but again, because I've been working away for work, I haven't had a chance to sort of whack it on while I've been in the office this week. But a little quote that Pure Xbox has pulled out here says, while Remnant 2 definitely has its technical flaws, as one of the first Unreal Engine 5 games around, it proves the capability of Unreal Engine 5's Nanite tech with a level of visual complexity that outstrips last-gen software. Whether you like or dislike the reliance on procedural systems, it's hard to deny that every handcrafted piece of Remnant 2's environments come packed with polygonal detail and looks quite pleasing in-game. Quite pleasing to sound like a technical term, but I'll let them have it. So if you're not familiar, Nanite tech in Unreal 5, they showed off with the Matrix demo. It's basically, to tech Luddites like me, I'm not going to be able to go into the deep dive of it, but the gist of it is, no matter how far away from the camera it is, the engine sort of figures out the best possible version detail wise to show you. So whereas before you'd get sort of pop in as you get closer to things where you'd see like the really low poly models in the distance, and then it would gradually get more and more detailed. Now it's sort of a seamless transition from 10 polygons way up in the distance to 100,000 polygons right up in your face, and it keeps it consistent rather than it just sort of being noticeably pop as you get closer to it. I'm sure there's far more technically literate deep dives out there which you can go and watch, probably on Digital Foundry as well. But it's very impressive stuff nonetheless. So that obviously shows us off. Ross, you put this in there. Have you had a chance to actually watch the video yet? Have you got any thoughts?
Yeah, so I was watching. It was basically giving you like your traditional Digital Foundry breakdown, like the way the game's split down. So I think like your next gen consoles, you've got your 3 sort of standard type modes, performance, quality, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the other one is. It's like a balance type mode, and it works very much what you would expect. Performance aims at trying to get like an uncapped frame rate, try to be as high as possible. Quality gives you a I know I've got this mixed up. Basically, one's like a 60, one's a 30, and one's an unlimited or an unlocked frame rate type idea. What they're saying is the Xbox Series X allows it to go up to 120 frames. It never gets close enough to hit the 120 frames, but it's allowing it to run at that, which is a nice change to see. The 30 frame mode is pretty much locked. There didn't seem to be very many drops on either Xbox or PlayStation when it came to the 30 mode. The Series S is locked at, I think they said it was 720 30, but it's upscaled to 1080. But it's a lock 30 as well. And then the other modes are aimed at 60, but there is occasional dropping down. But I think they said the worst case scenario is you're dropping down to, I think it was the low 50s, maybe high 40s was it was dropping down to. So nothing like plummeting like we had seen in like the I can't remember the other one that was like trying to aim at 60 and it was what was it? Jedi, the Star Wars game, where it was dropping like way down into the 20s. So Unreal, I think they were saying, like as we were saying, Jay, the Unreal Engine is like really showcasing how much a powerhouse it could be. Once, and what they were saying is the old Remnant game from Ashes, it wasn't done by a AAA studio or anything like that, so it never felt like a AAA game. So this one feels like it has been developed, well, Gearbox, but it's been developed and feels like a proper AAA game. And they're saying if this is what it's showing you for this developer, bigger developers that are using Unreal 5 is going to have loads of scope to play with to try and add in as much as possible.
Yeah. Like I said, the Unreal 5 is, well, especially this sort of updated version compared to what they originally released was, it's just mind blowing with the stuff that they can pull off. Again, tech Luddite here. It looks pretty. I really like it. It looks shiny. But when they added it to Fortnite, like the difference was night and day. I loaded it up the day after, and I was like, "What the hell has happened to this? It looks incredible," and it still looks incredible. But this sort of seems to be taking the cake. If you haven't checked out the Matrix demo as well, it's a free download, and it's just packed with a couple of scenes just to show the tech off, and you can like toggle on different filters and stuff. And even if you don't know what's happening, it's still very impressive to watch. They got the ray tracing going on. They got the time of day you can change on the fly. The nanite stuff you can change so it shows you how it's figuring out all the detail in it. And it's very, very impressive stuff. They got another quote here from Digital Foundry says Series X, like you were saying, Ross, so alluding to the frame rate. Series X is basically identical PS5 in terms of performance, dropping frames in the same places and generally turning in good performance despite some substantial dips. However, there's one curious difference, namely that the Series X allows the game to run in a proper 120 Hz container, allowing for higher frame rates than 60 frames, something that the PS5 does not do. So, all those teraflops they were waffling on about pre-launch, might finally be coming good. I'm sure it will change. I'm sure they'll add some sort of update to the PS5 version, but
I mean, just based, I know it's one game, it doesn't really tell you the whole story or anything like this, but a new release game able to run 120. It was same like Borderlands, that eventually came with 120 more as well. So it's nothing to do with the Xbox not being capable of doing it. Games that have been running poorly on Xbox recently have, and without throwing anybody under the bus, have been poorly optimized for the Xbox. They've been more keyed towards the PlayStation, and that's kind of Xbox's fault as well, because the infrastructure that they use for it is much more difficult to work with than what the PlayStation one is, so it makes it a lot easier to build on the PlayStation. So they've got to sort of take a wee bit of responsibility for that, but then developers should really be looking at parity and trying to build the best version of their game on each console, not just like, oh, this is the easy one to work with, let's build it on that, and then try and pull it across and optimize it.
Yeah, and I think part of the appeal of Unreal as well is to make that easier. So it's not as easy as a lot of people say you file save as Xbox version is, but the whole point is it scales far better. So you can you don't have to spend so many time sitting there going, well, if I take out 3 hairs of this man's head, it'll run up 58 frames a second, and then it'll take a different. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see more. Graham, you got anything to say on this technical showcase? You're probably more technical than either of us here.
Yeah, well, I mean, that trailer looks pretty awesome, and yeah, I mean, I wish they wouldn't sort of say this one looks slightly better on like Xbox over PlayStation. Just say they both run it pretty much the same. I mean, that's all you need to know, rather than giving those little nuggets to sort of boast over each other, because then they just take it and run with it. Say, look, well, you can get a couple more frames of what you can get on PlayStation, which means our hardware is better, and then there's another game that's vice versa, and it just, yeah, it's just like, just leave those comments. No one needs to say those ones. To say it runs pretty much the same on both. They're pretty much similar hardware. Be done with that stupid argument.
I do feel like they've done a better job recently, because when the Xbox One and PS4, they were like properly hammering into the differences in frame rates and resolution and stuff. Whereas I think even Richard Ledbetter, like the person who runs Digital Foundry, even he said like it's pointless doing that sort of comparison anymore, because it really doesn't make any difference. And now that they're trying to sort of focus on the more noticeable stuff, but yeah, every now and then, like you said, they let a little nugget slide through, like, oh, this one gets 2 frames a second more, so that's obviously the better version. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. They both run fine, like Graham said. They both run fine. Let's just find.
Leave it be.
Is there? Yeah,
it doesn't need to happen.
No, but the Remnant series is a really good series. I'm looking forward to picking up this one as well.
Yeah, I think former Tavern member Anthony reviewed the original for Xbox Tavern, which is probably up on the site now. If I could, I'm sure it's up there somewhere. Go check that out. And yeah, it was on Game Pass for a while, wasn't it? But
Remnant for Ashes was on. Yeah, it's only just recently came off. I'm sure.
Yeah. So you never might even get this one in Game Pass, and we can check it out for ourselves. But like I said, AJ's review coming soon, as and when he's ready, probably this week at some point, I imagine. So we can check that out as and when he drops that for us. But Graham, I know you're not really a Souls player, much like me, but I feel like there's a game probably a bit more up your street coming to Xbox in spring of 2024, and that game is Final Fantasy 14 at long last.
Is that the online one?
It is.
Yeah, that's what they said it was the online one.
I'm going to check out.
Phil Spencer's promised this back in 2019 when they had their sort of love affair with Square Enix, where they added basically every Final Fantasy to Game Pass except for this one because it wasn't on the console. But now it is finally coming from. It says here on Eurogame, it says the game will be playable on both Series X and S, available in full from spring 2024. Spencer described the new partnership as a seminal moment. He's a good lad, isn't he? As the companies look to partner more in the future. So obviously, Square have been partnering with Sony for a hell of a lot with Final Fantasy 16 exclusive, Final Fantasy 7 remake exclusive, and up until now, Final Fantasy 14 exclusive. So yeah, this is a good first step for those of you who like Final Fantasy. Graham, you're going to go jumping into the online world of this one, but we should be done with Starfield by then, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. Sort of Final Fantasy really sort of killed the buzz for me from 13 and the late. I thought the latest one was 14, but maybe I'm wrong.
No.
15 was the one where you all cut in the car.
And then 16 just come out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so 13 kind of killed it a little bit with snow and lightning and those kind of tears. I really couldn't get into that one. And then the 4 guys in the car, that one I liked even less.
Yeah.
So I really kind of fell off the Final Fantasy sort of wagon with those 2 games because they were just not fun at all for me. Some people just really liked them, but I just could not get into those.
15 was like visually gorgeous. It was an absolutely beautiful game to look at. It was just, it was horrible.
Well, supposedly the person who, because Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out, like you were saying, absolutely shit the bed to completely turn a lot of people off. It just messed it up completely. And some guy come in, I forget his name right now. I don't want to butcher it because it's Japanese dude, very famous. He turned it round, and now it's one of the biggest online RPGs in the world. And he also directed Final Fantasy 16, which again has been getting a lot of love for sort of taking the series back to what it was known for in 7, 8, 9, 10, stuff like that. So yeah, you might, if we ever get 16, you might be more inclined to check that one out. But like I said, it's coming to Xbox next year. Yeah. I mean, I certainly am not going to play it, but maybe some of you could check out and give it a go. I don't know whether it'd be free to play because I think it is free to play up until a certain level, like WoW, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that. But or maybe it's just got an online sub, and then you just pay that. And again, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much, but yeah, it's taken in 4 years, or by that point, nearly 5 years. But it's finally coming to Xbox, and people can jump into some online Final Fantasy goodness and get some of those online chocobos. No,
Yeah.
chocobo. Excuse me. Cool. Well, Ross, you got anything to say on Final Fantasy other than that?
No, it's like I say, Final Fantasy series got killed off for me with 15. I have seen good things about 16. I've heard it is excessively cutscene heavy.
They always are, though.
Has one of the downsides I've heard of it, but I do like the visual side of it. I do think they look beautiful looking games, but after the shit show of 15, it sort of gave me caution.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, maybe we can check it out one day. Eventually, when Square Enix stop going, Sony, you're my best friend. I love you. You can have all of the games, I promise. But yeah, we'll see. Gentlemen, I mean, the rest of these stories we've got in the list here are not massively interesting, I don't think. But anything stand out to either of you? Do you want to bring up?
Very much a sort of quick hits kind of week this week. The news is fell off a cliff. Yeah, I mean, the new dashboard for Xbox.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah.
Mine hasn't fucking worked yet. I fucking can't get access to it. I think I actually closed the menu.
I hate it so much. I mean...
Oh, juicy, because I was thinking it's better. Go on, get in there, Gray. Go on, tell us
how
you
really...
really...
last time I was on the update thing, and it was the reason I lost my fucking weekly update thing. Because this dog shit new view. You can't customize the homepage as much as you could before. Before you could like set all your own little groups of like how you wanted your groups on the front page. You can only have one. Before you couldn't even have any before they've done the last update bit. So they've slightly made it better, but you can only have one of your groups on there. And I can't even quick resume counts as one of your groups. So you can swap that out for one of your other groups, but you can only have one group, and all the rest of it is their dog shit that they're peddling. Sort of, recently on Game Pass, the game's like something you've been playing, and what's new in the store. So yeah, fine, stick them on the store page. Don't fuck up my home view with this nonsense. And yeah,
how would you ever know about them, Gray?
I fucking hate it. I really hate it. But yeah, that's the main reason I missed my 187 week bloody streak on Game Rewards, because of that shit view. Because you can't get to my rewards easy unless you have it in one of your groups. So rubbish. Because I had that was like its own separate channel before that I could use, the sort of rewards one. But yeah, now unless it's in part of the group that you add, you have to go out your way to try and find it. It's absolutely hate that view.
But you can see your background easier though, Gray. I don't know.
I couldn't give a shit. I really couldn't give a shit. Just let me customize it so I can put all the groups that I want on my homepage. I don't care about all this other stuff. You can't turn any of it off. It's kind of like there. Yeah. It's like you fucking bloatwared my homepage view, and I don't want it.
It does feel a little bit, because I'm in the preview program on one of my consoles, but not the other, and it does feel a little bit like a backward step, like you said, like not being able to set sort of certain groups, or even before you could set like certain games, couldn't you, to have their own channel? So if you played something a lot, you could just jump straight into it. But now you, like I said, you've got a group and just a row of smaller tiles along the top. It looks neater, but yeah, it's not as functional, I don't think, at the moment.
Yeah, style wise it's fine, but the content wise they've completely made it a shit show, and it's annoying as hell. So you could go, but you can specify one game that you really like and have that as pin that as a favorite. Yeah, you can pin one game, or you can pin it as a favorite, and just becomes its own bloody slide saying, here's a club about it, here's the store about it, here's the add-ons for it. So I don't give a shit. I was like, pin it there, so it's like I thought it was like an easier to play thing, like you can pin them across the top so you can play it. No, it just has its own little slide of guff underneath. It's not what I was hoping for. So I've bin that off then.
Well, the good thing is about these updates is they always listen to feedback, and they always implement new changes the more people shout and scream about them. So hopefully they'll listen to feedback, because you can report stuff on the actual console itself, obviously, and through the insider program and through the support website and stuff. So there's always ways to get your voice heard. But yeah, definitely go check it out. And Ross, I look forward to your opinions when you get the update finally.
Fucking bastards. I'll probably turn my Xbox on. It'll be sitting there. But the way it stands just now, I'm like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like you're missing much. I suppose the only other sort of quick hit headlines we got. I mean, Xbox gaming revenues up 1%. Yay, more money for them to buy more companies. Activision Blizzard this week? No, nothing good. Halo Infinite's adding 2 more classic maps to Squad's Battle playlist. I should click on that quickly while I read the other one. And a new Red Dead Redemption logo has appeared on the Rockstar website. It says Rockstar presents Red Dead Redemption. So that people are speculating it's either that long rumored remaster, or they're just gonna sort of do a title update and change it to say this is the game still, but now Rockstar presents it, even though we presented it all those years ago. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think the general consensus is it's going to be a remaster at some point, but hopefully better than the GTA one that came out. So in terms of Halo, they're adding Waterworks from Halo 2 and Exile from Halo 4. Playable in squad battle in Halo Infinite. I haven't touched Halo Infinite in 9 months, at least, probably a little bit longer than that. And I must admit, this isn't really doing anything to pull me back. Halo 2 map, it sounds more interesting because Halo 2 was awesome. Halo 4 multiplayer, I couldn't tell you the first thing about it because I fucking hated it. Does this do anything for either of you two to jump back into a bit of Halo Infinite?
No, I've completely fell off. I haven't even completed the main game yet.
Oy. I feel like I'm going to get dragged back on because mate will want to play it as a co-op experience, but the actual multiplayer side of it, nope.
See, I'd quite like to get back into the multiplayer side of things. And for all of his bluster, we never did get around to playing the Halo campaign co-op with Ian, which we should redo because that would be quite fun. And maybe that could be the Project Game Pass game. Halo Infinite, 4-player co-op. Oh, look at that! I've stumbled on a great idea there. But yeah, it's as much as I enjoyed the single player when I reviewed it and stuff. The multiplayer just hasn't quite grabbed me as much as I'd hoped. Because we're a lot older now than when obviously Halo 2 come out, Graham. But we used to spend hours every night playing that, and for months and months and months, and I haven't touched it. Haven't touched it in fucking far too long, but. Yeah, if you're still playing it, you can go check out some classic maps, or a classic map and one from Halo 4. Go from that. I hated the multiplayer in Halo 4. But yeah, that's about it for the news this week. Really, I'm sure we'll have more big, hot, juicy topics to discuss next week when we come back. Ross, you said you're not here next week, do you?
No, I'm not here next week, so
there'll probably be a massive amount of Starfield news that you won't be able to talk to us about. But
it's fine. I'll be very, very drunk at that point, so it's fine.
Maybe we can call in and you can give us
very, very drunk or in hospital. One of the two.
One or two. Why not both? Why not both?
It's a high possibility next Sunday. It's a high possibility.
Nice. All right. Well, let's. We're fucking flying through this evening. So let's round out the show, shall we? We got things coming to Game Pass. We've got things leaving. We've got Games of Gold while it's still a thing, and we've got some reviews on XboxTavern.com. But Ross, why don't you tell us what's coming to Game Pass first, please?
So for the start of August, we have on August 1st we've got Celeste on console, PC, and cloud. August 8th, you've got Broforce Forever on console. August 15th, you've got Everspace 2, which is coming to Series X and Series S. August 18th, you've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre on console and PC. And rounding out the month on August 29th, you've got Sea of Stars coming to console.
Nice. So we've got Sea of Stars. That's a brand new game, is it? As is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That could be fun, but again, we'd have to wait till later in the month to play it. But yeah, some decent looking games there. I believe there's things leaving, but obviously as in or some spirit in it's end of the month, so we've sort of either lost games already or they haven't announced what else is leaving us right now. We should keep an eye on it. We should let you know as soon as we know, as we like to do. But Graham, let's talk about Games of Gold for a second, shall we?
Yeah.
We've got to enjoy this moment while it lasts. We've got a couple more games going. Tell us what we can pick up for free.
Well, as long as you're listening to this later or tomorrow, if it goes up tomorrow, you've got Darkwood. That's going there until the 31st of July. And you can still pick up When the Past Was Around, which is going to be available from August the 15th. And I've got the two new or the two final Xbox games with gold, if you want to mention that now.
Go for it. That would be lovely.
You have Blue Fire, which is going to be from August the 1st to the 31st. And Inertial Drift, which is going to be from August the 1st to the 31st as well.
Hold on. I might actually be excited about the game.
Inertial Drift?
Yes, this was the game I played down at EGX. It is outstanding.
No, that's that's Initial D, isn't it?
Initial D was the anime for like the 80s, man. Come on.
Initial.
This is the same one. You don't use any other buttons.
Oh no, it's
two
yeah,
sticks to drift, and
Yes.
you only keep up speed by drifting instead of actually driving. Fantastic game. Absolutely loved playing that down at EGX. Finally, a game like I'm glad to see that they're ending it on a high, because that is a brilliant game. So pick that one up. But Initial D is also fantastic as well.
Yes. And you can read my review of Inertial Drift actually on xboxtavern.com. I reviewed the first one. We played the whatever the DLC or the update version was. But yeah, you can go read my review on xboxtavern.com right now. That'd be wonderful. Well, speaking of reviews on xboxtavern.com, we've had a few go up this week, including wait for the webpage to load. So we've got Koa and the 5 Pirates of Mara by Corey. He gave it a 7.5. He gave it a YouTube video review as he likes to do, as well as Inner Ashes, which is a game about Alzheimer's and sort of the effect it has on the family. Cheery subject matter, obviously, but he seemed to enjoy the game, and I think go check out his review there. And Graham's review of Double Dragon Gaiden, which is up there on the site right now, and my Iceland review. I can't remember if I mentioned that last week or not, but that's up as well now. So yeah, gentlemen, I think we've done it. We've done it. Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves for 5 seconds.
I'm very curious. I was very curious as to like if it was pulling out like a new segment just to like drag the show on a wee bit further there. I was like,
I've got a super special guest.
I've got a special guest. Booyah!
This question master extraordinaire. Extraordinaire Lily. Hello, Lily.
Hi.
How are you?
Crazy.
Yeah, I know you're crazy. What are you doing down here?
I need a charger for my phone.
Edgy.
Well, we're nearly done, and then we can charge it. All right.
10%, mate.
You can wait. Right, go on.
Okay,
I'll come find you in a minute. All right.
Find me.
Say goodbye then.
Granddad's got to go find the charger.
That's good.
How about now?
All right, I'll see you in a second. Right. Anyway, that's enough for us. I think this week I've got to go and find the charger. Apparently.
Yes, you do.
But for like I said, we're
not
here
just got
every
numerous
Sunday.
chargers in every.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no, there's chargers everywhere.
All in a drawer.
There's chargers everywhere, but for some reason it's my responsibility to find them and use them. And they're literally like hanging out of every fucking hole in this house.
I mean, I think
I'll
like
go find one.
Per room, I've got like 2 lightning cables, 3 USB-C cables. I think I've even got like the micro USB ones kicking around as well.
I've got literal
All
like
just
a
2
spaghetti
hands.
junction. A spaghetti junction of cables right there, as well as portable chargers, which are easily. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't need to get into it. It's fine. I'll go find it in a minute. I'll sort her out, and then we'll come back for Xbox Tavern After Dark, which we record every Sunday after we've recorded this show at 8 p.m.
Ish.
Nice. Ianish, thank you very much if you've been listening this far. You're a fucking hero. We love you. And you can find us on Twitter at Xbox Tavern or youtube.com/Tavern Officials, as I said earlier on. I'm Jamie. You can find me on Xbox and Twitter and X. Do we need to call it X now? I don't know.
We do.
X?
At least change it to X.
Fuck Elon Musk. What a cunt. I forgot what I was saying. ENXN. Just find ENXN. I'll be there. Ross.
Scottish Gruff.
And Graham.
At Graham Reaper.
And we shall see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. And remember, be nice, you cunts. Bye.